Staying safe when buying gold and silver online or in person is really important. In fact, it's probably the most important thing to do. Make sure you're not being scammed. Make sure the business that you're buying from is legit and is going to actually deliver the goods that you want. So today we're going to go through some tips, hints and tricks of staying safe when buying gold or silver. Everybody, Backyard Bullion here, and welcome to part 4 of my complete guide to stacking and investing in gold and silver. Today we are going to focus on the actual buying of this stuff, whether it be in person or online. There are plenty of tips, hints and tricks that you can employ to keep yourself safe and also make sure you're getting a good product that is real, that is genuine, and also that you're getting good value for money as well, because there are a lot of pitfalls when certainly looking online, but even in person as well. So there are a lot of things to talk about in today's video, and I do want to remind you that what we are discussing today are just my own tips, hints and tricks and opinions. It's not financial advice. Please take it with a pinch of salt and make the right decision that is right for you. If you are enjoying this video and this series, then do let me know and let YouTube know by putting that thumbs up on this video. It does help everything that we do here. And I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions down in that comment section, because a lot of new and seasoned stackers alike get a lot of value from hearing what you've got to say. So I'll see you down there in the comment section for a good, fun discussion. So actually physically buying this stuff, you've gone through the entire kind of pre-planning process and you've worked out that you want to get some physical silver, whether it be coins or bars. Now, where the hell do you get it from? There are so many different options out there in this world for buying silver. All you have to do is Google buy silver bars or buy gold bars, and you'll be bombarded with a plethora of different options, both bullion dealers, shops, pawn shops, even in your local area, coin stores. There will be countless options, really, and sometimes a little bit too many. And that's part of the problem here. It can be quite daunting to kind of understand what is the right path to take. Now, it is going to vary from country to country. Certain countries have different cultures, more prevalent than others regarding kind of coins and coin stores. The US is a prime example compared with the United Kingdom. In the US, there are coin stores very, very commonly, certainly in certain areas anyway, maybe less so in some areas, but there are a lot of coin stores around. They're, given the nickname LCS, local coin stores, and you can go down in person and buy quite a lot of what you can buy online there, often at better prices. But in the UK, that's not really a thing. We have a few bullion dealers that you can go and see in London and buy in person from. But generally speaking, a coin store in the UK is generally going to be kind of a jeweler's that's buying gold and silver and selling it. And they buy at dirt cheap prices. They'll buy at like 75% of spot, and they'll try and sell it for 150% of spot. They're just in it to make money. They're not a dealer. They're not a coin store. So a lot of people turn to online. And in this modern world that we're in, it's a great way to be able to shop around and get the best price on what you might want to look to buy. But one of my biggest tips and hints and tricks for you today is that the best price isn't necessarily the best option. Now, there are a huge amount of scam websites out there, unfortunately, and it's even more exemplified now in the post-pandemic world, and even in the pandemic it was sort of rising massively, where basically any Tom, Dick and Harry can set up their own website to make them look like a bullion dealer, and they can offer things at a really low, cheap price. And if you don't do due diligence and you research the company as well as you perhaps could do, some people will be drawn in by a really incredible price on a product, and they'll buy it and they'll never get their product. Or maybe the company is genuine and maybe they'll just try and then buy that product on the open market over time, hedging on the change in valuations of spot price, for example, to make their money. It might take them 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, who knows? And maybe you even just get sick of it and you go, do you know what? I'm just going to have a refund now. And they've had your money for 3 months interest free. So, there are plenty of scams out there, plenty of scam websites out there. So one of the best things to do is to really evaluate what you can expect when you go online. So when you are looking to buy bullion, we're going to focus on bullion rather than kind of collectibles and numismatics and things like that. But when you go online to look to find bullion, generally speaking, gold bullion will have a lot less of a premium on it than than silver will. The smaller the gold, the higher the premium, generally speaking. So if you're going to be looking for your best value per ounce, you want to be looking to get kind of, so Britannias in 1 ounce size, Eagles, Buffaloes, things like that. They're going to have the lowest premiums out there. And generally speaking, from a bullion dealer, you would be expected to pay anywhere from sort of 2 to 5% for over spot price for your gold bullion, depending on this condition and it's new, whether it's new or not, whether it's a 2022 edition or the latest release and things like that. They can vary, and there are other products like gold Queen's Beasts and things like that which will have a slightly higher premium depending on their mintage and things like that too. But generally speaking, that's the rule of thumb for gold. A couple of percent over spot price is a good deal. So if you see a bullion dealer offering gold at spot or below spot, the alarm bells should ring immediately. You really should have that kind of, that seems too good to be true. And that's one of the biggest sort of alarm bell ringers, really. If it does seem too good to be true, it probably is. And a lot of people can get stung by just trying to get the best deal possible for £1 an ounce less on a gold coin that costs £1,400. I don't get it. I don't get why people would use a brand new website with no due diligence, with no history of trading, no customer testimonials, just to save £1 on a £1,400 order when they could go to another mainstream dealer with a big presence online that's got a proven track record. I just don't get it. But, some people are beholden to getting the single best price per ounce for their precious metals. So that kind of brings me into the next bit, which is the due diligence stage. So a lot of those alarm bells, if they're ringing, if something seems too good to be true, just try and have a look online about that business, about that company. If it's a registered business, they'll have details on Companies House or the Better Business Bureau in the US, and they'll have reviews and actual, just, boil down on the reviews. Make sure that what you're reading reads well. Is it a real review or is it just something that's been copy and pasted? Often what you can do, a little trick, is if you take the review's text and you copy and paste that into Google search with inverted commas around it, if that's been reused on a whole host of different websites without really kind of changing anything, it'll show it instantly and you'll know if that's a kind of fake review or not. There are great websites that have verified review pages, but even those can be faked as well through fake customers or just genuine purchases by fake people, if that makes sense. So the business can buy stuff from itself, or the owner of the business could do that and just make up these fake reviews. So there are a lot of pitfalls from just reading reviews. Have a look as well at the sort of trading history of a business. If it's a bullion dealer that's literally just been set up in the middle of the pandemic, then it's got no proven track record. But if you look at it and it's got 10 years worth of trading, but it's suddenly, you look at its company's accounts on Companies House here in the UK, which you can do, by the way, if it's a limited company, then it will just, it might just show that it's been trading, 20 grand a year. And a bullion dealer should be trading millions of pounds a year. If they're a big dealer, it'll be, millions of pounds a year. But if it's even a small dealer, it will be hundreds of thousands of pounds a year. Because if they sell 10 1 ounce gold Britannias a month, that's £150,000 turnover just in a year alone, and that's tiny amounts of volume. So do your due diligence, research the company, research what you're seeing. If you're unsure of anything, then just potentially try and contact the company, ring them up, say, I've seen this, you've got this X, Y, and Z, can you tell me a little bit more about it? Get a kind of feel for how they are as a company, how they answer their phones, if they've got quick responses and things like that. But be wary, because that is also part of like a scam as well, that you can be sort of lulled into a false sense of security by these quick responding businesses that are, basically trying to lure you in with the best prices. So one of my best tips would be, if you are a brand new buyer of gold and silver, then stick with the big names. There are plenty of them out there, and I'm not going to list any particular companies here in today's video. You can do a lot of due diligence to find some of the biggest, most recognized brands out there. But those, sticking with those, you'll see yourself absolutely fine. You might end up paying more per ounce than you would have if you find a deal elsewhere, but I think you'll be a lot safer if I'm being honest as well. And one of the biggest problems with finding the best deal out there and just going with any Joe Blogs company is there is this now mentality of, you get the best price for it, but it doesn't matter what else happens. And if you've got this company that's just randomly new and, they've supplied you with the gold coin, fine, you've got your gold, it's fine. They've got your details. They've got your name, your address. They know you like to buy gold. They know where you live. Who's to say that in the future that company won't be hacked or won't go out of business and somebody buys it that's going to use your data? Or, what happens if that business just suddenly decides that they are not going to be a bullion dealer anymore and they sell your details off to somewhere else? There's a lot of really shady practices that go on with GDPR and data protection, and it is very scary. I've seen a lot of terms and conditions for bullion websites and dealers which really are quite horrific when it comes to your privacy and personal data being passed on to third parties, and then those third parties passing them on to other parties as well. There are a lot of horror stories out there, and it's worth checking. And that's one of the other things about a big player in the market. They'll have more reputation to lose if they have those kind of things. They'll also have more security when it comes to their kind of online presence and your data as well. So it's definitely a huge thing not to overlook, really is. So when you've kind of found a dealer that you're quite happy with and looking to buy, a lot of the time you'll see for these dealers that there are different prices available for different payment methods. And if you're going with one of the really big boys in the market, if you're going with the most recognizable brand out there as a bullion dealer, paying via banks transfer, you'll probably be absolutely fine. In fact, 99.999% of the time, you'll be just fine. But if you are using a relatively new company or one that you're not sure on, then paying by banks transfer is a pretty bad idea. Using a credit card to have the consumer protection that is yielded from having a credit card purchase or even a debit card is infinitely safer than a banks transfer. If it's a credit card, don't necessarily borrow to buy your gold and silver. That's a topic for another time. But you could pay off your credit card, at the end of the month with zero interest, and then you've got all of those consumer protections in place. So really be very, very careful of those new businesses and protect yourself. And if you are going to go through them, use a credit card, use a debit card, because it protects you as a consumer, and you can always open cases to reclaim any money back that you don't feel like you've got value for if they haven't delivered the goods, for example. So there's a whole host of different ways that you can look to sort of protect yourself in that sense. Look to social media as well. Look to the community. I mean, there's so many different elements to this. You can see from a lot of the different community members out there all of the different products that they have bought and where they usually buy them from as well. There are trusted dealers that very many social media influencers will use, and they will either endorse directly or indirectly, and those can be a really good sign. Be a little wary, though, of some, there are ulterior motives at play for a lot of these social media influencers with regards affiliate bonus codes and things like that. So yes, you can have a degree of kind of certainty that something's going to be, a pretty good source to buy your silver and gold from, because they're being used by lots of other people and they've got all of these affiliate codes and everything. But they might not be the cheapest out there. There might be other options which are equally as safe but slightly cheaper. Just have a research around, have a good look around. But it's definitely worth, even just if you've found a bullion dealer or found a company that you're interested in, just, Google them, have a look on YouTube, see if there are any reviews, any kind of unboxing videos, things like that. It's a real good tool to be able to find what's going on with a particular business. And then the last thing that I would want to touch on is buying in person. So there are, of course, other options to buying gold and silver than just buying online. I talked about local coin stores earlier, and you can definitely go in and buy from coin stores, more commonly in the US, of course. Again, do your research before you go in, because at the end of the day, those are businesses that are there to make money, and I'm not saying this happens all the time, but I would imagine that there are different stores with different ethics, and sometimes those ethics might recognize somebody who doesn't know a lot about the market and might be then upsold something that they don't really know much about, or they might end up paying a bit more than they perhaps would have done if they'd walked in and they knew exactly what they were saying. So familiarize yourself with some of the terms, things like spot price, things of the coins that you want to buy. Go in with a action plan, go in with a budget, and see what happens. And buying in person from a coin store is a lot safer than just buying on places like Craigslist and meeting somebody, or here in the UK, what is it called, Gumtree. I've met people to buy gold and silver from before, and you need to take precautions. I'd say meet in a public place, somewhere where there are going to be other people around, but somewhere where there's going to be an element of privacy, so you can go and sit down, on a bench somewhere and sort out the trade, the sale. Buying in person can be a little bit risky because you can't necessarily validate and sort of Understand where the source of that gold and silver's come from. If you are buying stuff from some random guy with a trench coat that goes, hey, do you want to buy some silver? Who knows, it could be stolen. And if you're then handling stolen goods, that's a big no-no and not something that you should look to do. So if you are buying in person, try and see if that person that's selling has got confirmed sales receipts from businesses that they've bought it from. Do the due diligence again, and I would probably recommend you don't go and buy in person from a guy with a trench coat for one of your first deals. But it does happen. It does happen. You'll be surprised how many people just want to go and get the best deal possible. And again, if there's a guy with a trench coat offering silver at 75% of spot price, there's probably a reason why. And it's because those goods are hot and he needs to get rid of them ASAP. So be very cautious. However, all of what I've said, cautioning you for the purchase of precious metals, it's not difficult to buy this stuff. There are plenty of dealers out there that are able and willing to help you and talk with you about this stuff. And you can literally just ring them up and get some insights about what's right for you. A lot of the big dealers out there will have defined kind of customer service teams which will be able to at least aid you and guide you in the buying process. Maybe not give you advice on what to buy, but tell you how things work if you're unsure. Just ask. If that's, the most important piece of advice that I can give out there. If you're unsure of anything, just step away and ask a question. Do some research, do that due diligence, because that will save you more money in the long run than it will cost you in time and potential mistakes. So, with that all said, actually this video went a little longer than I thought. I wanted to keep these guide videos down to about 10 minutes, but I've gone way over that now. But I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope there's been some insights here. I think it's one of the most important areas, which I guess is why it's gone 16 minutes. It really is very, very important to keep yourself safe when buying online. And I might well do some follow-ups on things like privacy, things like, I certainly will be doing one about privacy when it comes to owning precious metals in due course. So if you want to see that kind of video and many more in the future, then let me know. And if you've got any particular areas that you'd like me to cover in this guide, which I fully intend, by the way, to have like 25, 30, 40 parts by the end of this series, then do let me know down in that comment section. It'd be great to hear from you. And likewise, if you want to share some thoughts and examples from your own experience, then please do so as well. And also, another reminder for those of you watching to the end, to hit that thumbs up button. Otherwise, that is it from me. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you on the next one. As always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.